Summarize the roles of each group member for all the components of the project. So I believe that Mike and Christina, they very much so coordinated a lot of what was going to happen. They definitely gave us the in when it comes to speaking with the firefighters, as well as talking to Christina's father. So I feel like they were very influential on that part of the project. As for Jackie, I felt like she was very much coordinator of the entire thing. She was very organized and she helped the group stay on track. She gave us options of what days each one of us are free and really tried to coordinate the schedule so the entire project would go fluidly. As for my role, I felt like I had very strong audiovisual skills, so I was really focused on more of the video editing, taking the video. I think that we did overall a very good job. Question number 2. Summarize peer review process, perception, and feelings. When we went in front of the class, it was very nerve-wracking. We wanted to present our original idea, which I think was very good. But at the same time, when you're being exposed to various types of criticism, whether it may be peers or our instructors, it's hard to not take anything personally. That process was very helpful. It gave us a really good feel of how we were doing and pointed us into the correct direction so that we would better understand the flow of our project and what we could do better. So that was very good for the process. Question number 3, reflect on the impact of individual learning styles for a group project. So there were 4 big ones that we really tried to focus on. It was a visual, oral, a read-or-write learner, or a kinesthetic learner. I feel like a lot of this project did center on somewhat of a kinesthetic person as well as a visual person. It was a lot of hands-on, a lot of watch us do something, you do something else. So that will definitely correlate to one of the teaching styles that we're going to talk about later. But as for read and write, I feel like it wasn't too heavily based on that. I feel like we did address them, but not as well as we would have the visual and kinesthetic learners. I feel like reading and writing learners usually get pushed off to the side. In this case, we tried to not do that so much. We had their pamphlet and we had words on the screen, as well as just giving them written instructions so they could better understand what we were trying to accomplish with them. Describe the teaching styles and evaluate community response. So our teaching styles were the authority teaching style, demonstrator, facilitator, or our delegator grouping style. So definitely some of the aspects of our presentation to the firefighters were authority based in the sense that we wanted to get a message across to them. So there's definitely that. As far as demonstrator based, we had a huge component when we were doing that checklist, when we wanted our audience to interact with us and do the same motions that we were doing just to confirm that they were picking up what we were trying to relay to them. Facilitators really wasn't so much one of our focuses. We want them to understand the importance of proper lifting mechanics. So it was more of us saying this is the way you should do it, regardless if it's a light object or a heavy object. It's something that they need to understand that their back is really important to them, especially if they plan on making this one of their long-time careers as a firefighter. As far as delegator, there was a little bit of that needed. We had them partner up. While one person said, all right, do this, the other person followed along. So there was definitely an experience of that going on when we had our firefighters doing that little breakout. Question number 5, include a summary of changes to the presentation if given again to 2 different target populations. So a lot of the comments that we received from our peers and as well as from you, Dr. Amir, were that we needed to change our camera angle and set it up more of as an interview. So we'd have one person here, a camera looking from there, another person here, a camera looking from there. We would definitely try to do that if we were going to present it to another group, but we didn't have time to actually do that. Another thing was try to explain creep in layman's terms. The good analogy of just pulling the finger back and saying it doesn't hurt right now, but it'll hurt after a couple minutes or even after a couple of seconds was a real good layman's way of explaining what was going on. In addition to that, we should have said physical therapists rather than PTs. Again, that was a mistake on my part. Definitely making ourselves known on what we are and how our profession is growing and how we could help others is a big key thing that we missed out on. And definitely one of the bigger things I feel like I messed up on was not giving a hook. I was thinking about it, really didn't come out of my mouth when I was trying to do the introduction. When we did it in front of the firefighters, it came out, it was more like, what would happen if your back gave out and you were dying in a fire? How would that make your family feel? Something along those lines, more of a scare tactic rather than a persuasive kind of thing. Another thing that we tried to incorporate when we were presenting to the firefighters was trying to keep it interactive. While we presented this in class, it was more of us just speaking to them rather than asking them questions. So one of the things that we could definitely ask was, how many of you have thrown your back out? And a couple of people did raise their hands when we were giving that presentation to the firefighters, not in class. It made it feel like they were more included rather than excluded and just being talked to. So yeah, that's pretty much it, Dr. Amir. That's my reflection video. I hope you have a great vacation, enjoy the cruise, and thanks again for watching the video.